Okay, I'm back. I tried to launch this. It's my first time doing a live screen, so we have to, we have to break a few eggs to make an omelet, as one would say. Uh, so let me get my notes out and we'll start talking live stream here. Let's see. So today is June 24th, 2026, and this is the first episode. So I'm Alex Grover. I started Ticker Pulse mainly to discuss the app that I created, the Ticker Pulse app, but also more of the underlying stories about the stocks that are being tracked by the bloggers I follow. So I follow a lot of YouTubers, giving stock tips and analysis and what have you. But I'm quite busy, and there's a lot of good ones out there. There's like around 20 that I follow that are quite good. I think the app is following maybe 15 of them. Some of them are a bit more noisy, posting a lot every day, and then get a lot of signal distortion. But I'll talk about that more a little bit later. So what my app does is it tracks all the YouTubers I follow, and you can come here to the Ticker Pulse app, and then you go to the wiki, and then you can see here the sources that we track. So we are tracking several mainstream sources here, Mad Money, Kramer, Schwab Network. We're tracking, independent ones, like Nanalyze, Parkev, the professor, Tom Nash. Who else is here? Felix and Friends. Yeah, he's one of my favorite ones. And what we do is every day we pull the transcripts of their videos using an API, and then put all that into a database so we understand which stocks they talked about, how they felt about them, and get a general idea of the sentiment. And from that, we can build reports like this word cloud. Let me just go ahead and see that over here. So we get a word cloud, and you can go back in time and see what's the most talked about stocks. So there are no secrets here. SpaceX, Amazon, Nvidia. We also follow a few of the cryptos, the mainstream cryptos, not so much of the small ones, but some of the bigger ones here. And like I said, I created this just to be more efficient. I wanted to aggregate what these guys are talking about. So we get a daily report of I got to log in here, and then let's just go ahead and take a look. So you can see like SpaceX obviously was brought up. It's a new one. It's being talked about. Mentions is the number of bloggers that have talked about the stock that day, not the number of times they said the word SpaceX. So if we're following like 15 bloggers and 3 of them talk about it, that says something. It's a big topic. So we have Google. And there's been a bearish sentiment about it yesterday. People are feeling bearish. You can also sort by the sentiment, see what people feel good about. So Broadcom, people feel good about. Just one guy, FedEx, IonQ, the quantum company, Target, and then a lot of your Mag 7 is down there in the bearish. I think people are looking to rotate. And just like I've said in the other videos, I feel like the blogosphere, let me just go ahead and open this wiki, another tab here. These guys are usually picking up stuff, picking up signals, good or bad, mostly good. These guys are mostly optimistic, long before mainstream media picks it up or the mainstream Wall Street analysts pick it up. A lot of those guys studied engineering, finance. They've worked in the semiconductor industry, and they have a lot of perspective on this. So, yeah, I'm just trying to see. Okay, we have one person in here. We got one like. You got to start somewhere. I think that's Aiden. I don't know if is there any way to talk in this one, to have comments, or did I set it up right? I'm not sure. Let me just take a look if we can get some comments. I mean, this is like a test run, one would say. But all right, let's go down the list here of stuff to talk about. This is not financial advice. Do your own research before losing all your money. Uh, the other one that's interesting to look at here is talking about the new tickers that have come into the market. So let me see. So let's do it by date, newest to oldest, because what this does is pick up tickers that haven't been talked about before, either for 90 days or first ever seen by our app. And our app is around 8 months old. So this one here, Apogee Therapeutics. Let's see what this is all about. It's got a bullish sentiment on it. We can also figure out who gave that in the app. Let's just put Apogee stock here. Apogee Therapeutics. Somewhere they get a little summary in the Google. Let's see if which one to use. Let's use Yahoo. And sometimes they give a little bit of a summary of what they do. It's always good to know what this company does and why it's being talked about. It might be a gene therapeutics company or something. We have to see. Let's see it. Usually it's at the top. So we just have to search it out. Let's see. Google Finance. Let's get it on the Google Finance. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. So this company surged 46% following a $10.9 billion acquisition agreement with AbbVie. Just want to know what this company does. And this is what you got to do. You got to do your own research. I'm just doing this with you. Okay, here it is, the biotech stock. They are a clinical stage biotech company developing advanced medications to treat atopic dermatitis and asthma. So this could be big, if they're getting close to a breakout. This is really good. So let's see, what is the bearish case? Always start with the bear stuff first. So if there's some big red flag, you just move on. Okay, so it's already priced for perfection. And a lot of times, that's the thing. The purpose of our ticker pulse is hopefully find these things a bit earlier. Remains so regulatory and approval risk. While the deal is expected to close in Q3 2026, it remains subject to customary closing conditions, including Apogee shareholder approval and regulatory clearances. Any unforeseen delays from antitrust could negatively impact the timeline or completion of the merger. So they're going up on the merger news. And let's just see what their statistics are. So they are, how big is this company here? Get an overview, average volume. Where's the market cap? Okay, so it's losing money. It's a $10 billion company, and it's been all over the place. I personally, I don't know. I don't have much background in pharma, to be honest. So I generally don't know, and I'd like to find someone in the community who has a pharma background. Let's see. Let's see. How do we enable the comments here? Okay. I guess that's something I have to do in the beginning in the setup. Is enable the comments. It doesn't let me play with the settings after I start. So I have to really do a proper setup in the beginning as I'm learning. Okay, but let's go down the list here. Let's see what else is interesting in these newly mentioned stocks. Also, Avery Dennison. This is like some stationery company. Maybe this is one of these boring companies that just drifted down and now it's like really well valued. It's one of these, they make school supplies. Everyone knows this, and little stickers and so 18 PE ratio. You got to be careful with these kind of companies, though. It has a 2.46 dividend. So it's just, let's look at the PEG ratio. That's the price to earnings growth. So you have a price to earnings growth ratio. So if you have like a very high PE, but then the company's also growing very fast. So this takes this normalizes it. And if it's 1 or below, then it's a pretty good deal. But it's 1.76. See, yeah, so to compensate for the growth, I don't know, this company doesn't excite me very much. And we can look at their financials, see what their balance sheet and their earnings growth look like. But yeah, this is probably one of these boring companies in the suburbs of Chicago somewhere that's just been doing the same thing over and over for years. They got their niche. It looks like it's up today. So if someone knew something, when did it was mentioned yesterday or 2 days ago in Ticker Pulse? Yeah. So if you would have jumped on this a few days ago, you would have been, what's the 5-day look like? Yeah, you would have, let's see, June 22nd is when it got picked up in Ticker Pulse. And then, so yeah, if you're a short-term trader, you would have gotten a bump on this. That somebody, one of the bloggers picked this up. So let's take a look. So here's the financials. You have the balance sheet. And I think, Aiden, you're going to study accounting. So this is the financial accounting, income statement, balance sheet, and statement of cash flow. This is all important for finance. So yeah, they're sitting on a pretty good growing pile. Well, it looks like they burned off some cash here. Let's see, they have liabilities. Yeah, this company doesn't really excite me very much. I mean, there might be some news that they could get bought by somebody. But let's look at the cash flow. Yeah, cash from financing. So I mean, they closed this little negatives here, but let's see, what's the news on these guys? ABY stock. ABY stock. And it's like not everything that the bloggers bring up is good, or you have to be right on time, or at least this gives you a tip. It gives you a tip on where to do the research. But it's like flying today. I mean, if 2% makes you excited, but it's that could be just with the market. So let's see. There's some just standard articles, no big news for it. But let's just take a look at what's going on in the world. So let's take a look at the 10-year Treasury yield. It's down, so we're going to have let's take a look at Market Watch. This is just to get the headlines. Yeah, so we're getting a small relief rally, I mean, with the oil down. So yeah, everything seems up. So, but Avery Dennison is up above the market. The crypto is all down. I mean, to be honest, I mean, this is not financial advice, but I'm picking up Bitcoin now because it's so out of favor. That's when you get things, right? When everyone else doesn't want it. I mean, Bitcoin is a thing. It's an ETFs. So I'm taking a gamble. I mean, who knows? I could someone else could create something. That's the thing about these blockchain coins and market it, and everyone moves over to that. That's what the forking was about. So this is not financial advice, but I don't keep any more than a few percents in the Bitcoin. I'd rather have gold if I'm going to have the doomsday allocation, gold and the gold miners. So yeah, and then what do we have? We have the 10-year. Let's look at the oil prices here, because this is what drives inflation. Let's see. Yeah, it's coming down. Yeah, I mean, it's down a lot. So that should be a pretty good day for the markets then. If the crude prices are coming down, I mean, yeah, you have it down all the way, which is good. So that'll, what else we got here? We're talking about, yeah, the macro. Yeah, so what is the goal of this chat, of these live streams? we need to understand the conversation, why it's happening. I've been a bit disappointed with a lot of the other streamers. They're just like, oh, the Fed is going to raise rates. Why are they doing this? Why is going on? That's what we want to help you understand, is why the Fed is looking to raise rates. I mean, so this is where the 10-year Treasury is. This is what the market is saying rates should be. And then let's put CPI inflation. And then this is the inflation. It's 4.2%, right? So interest rate should always be more than the rate of inflation. And then let's look at the Fed rate. Current. 3.5 to 3.75%. So when you have negative interest rates, negative real interest rates, so the real interest rate is the Fed rate minus the rate of inflation. And then you also have this 10-year kind of showing that that's holding above the rate of inflation. That hints at rate hikes. And why do they have to hike rates? Because they need to finance the U.S. national debt. So let's take a look at the U.S. national debt. Let's go to the Treasury website, U.S. national, spelled it wrong, debt graph. So this is a thing. It's been a thing for a long time, but it is a thing. So they got to pay interest on this. So if they raise the rates, if they have to raise the rates to get people to buy the treasuries to trust the US dollar. But if they raise it too much, then the interest payments become very high. And then they have to raise taxes or, get money from somewhere. I don't know, dig some gold or something, sell off some assets, sell the White House to somebody or something like that. I mean, they would never do that, but that's what's going on. And that's what a lot of the other streamers don't talk about, is the macro and how the macro affects prices. But now that oil is going down, we're getting some relief that inflation is going down. Bank of America said there would be 3 hikes by the end of the year. I don't agree that the Fed would be so aggressive, but then you don't know if this Iran thing blows up and things spike, they may have to do it. But I think they're going to just talk and hold. I just want to mark my view that maybe we'll get one out of the 3 as a symbolic hike. And then they'll be saying that inflation is transitory, that they can hold the rates negative for a while. I would say they would do 25 basis points. They really need to do 75. I mean, if you want to follow any economic theory at all, Keynesian theory and all this, they need to get the Fed rate above the rate of inflation. And it has been persistently like 3, I think before the oil spike, well over 3. So Warsh said he wanted to get it down, but there's other ways they can get it down. They can change the basket, and I talked about that in the previous video. And then the other goal of this live stream is not only to understand what's going on in the macro. Let me look at the fear and greed, but also to just find some opportunities, see what my app has picked up. Let's see the CNN fear and greed index. So let's look at it in chart view, timeline view here. So yeah, people are still fearful, and like I said, this is, I think, time to make a few buys if you see some deals. I picked up a little bit of Google yesterday. I got lucky. I did it before their index announcement into the stock market. I got it in the 340s, and it was just a total surprise to me that they were going to be in the Dow Jones. I didn't know that was being talked about. They went down because some of their talent left. But I think a company like Google can get talent. I mean, yes, some of these guys are hard to replace, but they're not irreplaceable. Nobody is irreplaceable. It might be hard, but there's a lot of geniuses near Google. There's Stanford, there's Berkeley, there's Caltech. There's like 3 world-class schools they probably recruit from. Then you have MIT on the East Coast. So there's probably some smart guys, some grad or PhD guys there that can be their AI brains and replace them. It's probably good to have some turnover to get some new perspectives. Sometimes when you keep the same guys around, you don't get, then things can get stagnant, especially in a competitive environment like this. So I see it as a positive sign. It reduces complacency. Because a company like Google, I mean, we thought they were in trouble because ChatGPT could have replaced search, but now you're finding out that they have their Gemini and it's built into the search, and I'm using Google every day. So that was one of the ones that I had picked up. But let's just go back here and see if there's any other Butterfly Network that was also picked up yesterday. Goldman Sachs, they have an income ETF. People are bearish on it, but I just want to see what the ones that are bullish. What's this one? FN, Fabrinet Ordinary Shares. FN stock. Fabrinet. What is this? PE 49, 20 billion. Let's look at their PEG ratio. This is what I look right away to see if their PE ratio is compensated for the growth. It's about 1.65. It's a little high. Everything is a bit high right now, but I think that's also because this is a theory I have. Like young people aren't buying housing anymore; they're renting. Because housing has gotten so ridiculously expensive, and they're putting their money into stocks instead of like putting it into a down payment for a house. So I think a lot more money is coming out of the housing market that would be first home purchases, and the dude is living at home or living in his basement or whatever, and then just putting money in stocks, hoping that it'll pop one day, and then they can get their house. People are like trying to do the lottery thing. Get a lot of ads here. Apple TV, but yeah, the fear and greed is like I'm just trying to see what the overview, the daily one. Yeah, I think when this thing comes to extreme fear, we have to reconsider, because if the Iran crisis is over, inflation will come back down. Things have inflated away, and people are adjusting their lifestyles. In America too. I mean, over time, if gas prices stay high, people go to compact cars, and then you create a glut, and we may even have an oil glut that will really bring the inflation down. So that's why I'm saying Fed will be a hold with tough talk. They will hold with tough talk, one hike at most for rest of the year. That's if Iran holds, but it looks like it's holding. I mean, the market's saying that it's holding here. So let's go back here. I didn't like that one. But if you go to the website, I would encourage you here, and this is a premium one. So you go, you can subscribe, and you can get to these premium features. Otherwise, you can just look on the daily report, new in 90 days. We also mentioned the new mentions. Nothing was new as of yesterday. It's always a day late because we aggregate every night. This is not for like day traders, like where you're watching all these like charts. Let me just look at day trading stock chart here. There's guys who live stream all this, like, and they're going after every candle. Let me just see, just so you know what I'm talking about for illustrative purposes. Like a Bloomberg screen, like this kind of thing. I don't do this. I'm looking for like a theme, like a long-term theme or trend, and then I invest in that. I ease into it. I do take profits. I wouldn't say I'm a day trader. I'm a day investor. Like let's say Nvidia, it ran up a lot in a short time. I trimmed some of that, and then I moved that into some easier stocks like Berkshire Hathaway, ones that are less volatile and have more steady growth. Amazon, what have you. I'll have to maybe get my portfolio up on the Yahoo or something that I have that shared in a previous presentation. So my main holdings are Berkshire, Nvidia, Google, Amazon. Real obvious ones. I have a little bit of TSM, a little bit of Meta, and then I'm playing around with. Let me just see the other ones that I have. SPGI. I wouldn't say that's playing around. That's my fourth one. That's the S&P Global Index. Let me see, where's my YouTube screen go? I hope I didn't lose the YouTube screen. Let me see. Like I said, yeah, a little bit learning on the learning curve today. Let me get that back. See your channel. And go live here. Okay, there I am. Yeah, I see myself. Okay, yeah, but I didn't turn on the commenting though. Okay, so let me get back to my notes. I'm going to get better at this over time. But yeah, so yeah, we looked at this, and yeah, in the macro, they passed a bill on housing actually to make more affordable housing. That was another one I want to talk about today. Was Affordable Housing Act, Liz Warren. Yeah, there was a bill that was Congress passes the largest housing affordability bill in decades. So this could actually be a positive. I think this allowing giving credits for renovations. This is going to allow for rezoning and also manufactured housing. I see this as an opportunity as the U.S. economy heals. My view is AI is not really going to take away jobs. People used to think that about the steam engine, about electric looms. It's just going to change jobs. Like IKEA automated a lot of jobs with AI, but they didn't fire the people. They just repositioned them to be interior design consultants, and they're actually able to do better selling because you can go to IKEA, you just see all this stuff everywhere, and then you need a person to kind of advise you like how to put it together, and that had actually helped them grow sales. So I think we'll see a shift in the jobs. First, it's going to be bad. It always will be a displacement, and then the economy will reform. But this is good news. I don't think it fixes everything, but it's at least putting things in the right direction. Keeps the hedge funds out of single-family homes, and it's making it less difficult for home builders to build. People have been beaten up with regulations. So, but let's see what it can't do. We know all the things it can do. Um, So yeah, it really comes down to local government. So and it doesn't address the labor shortages. We deported a lot of the labor. A lot of the housing labor got deported. So, but yeah, that's how it goes. Um, but that's encouraging sign to bring down the inflation. Housing is a big component of the inflation as well. Um, Yeah, and to round this off, let's just look at SpaceX. It's actually one that I bought puts on. I just can't buy the story. I just I'm not buying it. I mean, it's up a little bit today, but it's way off of its high. Let me just see. It's let's go 1 month or 5 days. So when the lockup period ends, there'll be a lot more shares coming on the market. Right now it has a low float. I mean, the guys who sold Cursor got SpaceX shares in return. So I'm pretty sure they're going to have to cash those in and it'll come down. So I bought 70 puts for 1 year out. That gives SpaceX just under, so 800 billion market cap, and Moody's said it's worth 580. So if it gets down to anywhere near, hopefully those puts will hit. But I think puts will hit more than long calls because there's a long way to go to make their, to get a revenue, not even a revenue, they have revenue to get a profit that justifies these metrics. Uh, and the way I'm playing this, and I'm losing money on this one, is RDW. That's like a mini SpaceX. They sell parts, pieces and parts, components to the rocket makers. And this is like a small market cap company under $3 billion. So I don't know if they fix their financials and they stop diluting or they get some big contract, then I think a hedge fund or private equity would pick these guys up. Uh, is the way I look at that one. Now let me just see like how to get out of this live stream here. Let's see where we are. Let's see, YouTube, your channel, manage videos. Yeah, I have to get the hang of this a little bit more. How to run this. It was set made for kids. Oh, I set this all wrong. Okay, so no, it's not made for kids. Save that. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing. I think that's all I got for today. This was kind of a test run, um, just to see what's going on, how this all works, and trying to figure out how to turn this off. Yeah. live now. So I got 4 views on this. I have to figure out how to turn this thing off. I lost the screen where I was broadcasting from. Let's see, I got buried here in my windows. Here we are. There it is, I found it. Yeah, I just have to do some better choreography. But I appreciate you all showing up. Give me a like and subscribe. I'm just starting out. Like what I wanted to conclude today is that, I'm trying to go beyond just like day trading things, looking at candles and trying to understand the world around us and how it's affecting the share prices. And I'm looking for long-term themes and then good buy points for that. And I have the tool tickerpulse.info that aggregates what all the bloggers are talking about, all the content creators, and try to get a picture of where the conversation is. So that tells you like if you're in the right place to buy or sell stocks, and especially sell. After things run up a lot, you should sell and then pay down your mortgage. Stack some gold bars. And this is not financial advice. This is just what I do. If I make a quick run on some stocks, then I put it into more stable things, S&P 500 or Berkshire Hathaway, which is a proxy like for S&P. He has a lot of cash. It'd be interesting to see what he's going to do with it one day. And I have my middle stocks like my Google, Amazon, Nvidia, to stay in the tech. I have some biotech. I have CRISPR Therapeutics. And then I have the DRAM ETF, the SOX-Q ETF to still be and get a spread of the semiconductor play. But I'm proceeding with caution because we are in an inflationary environment, and until we get some conclusion on the inflation, I am holding cash. I have like a 20% cash position. It was 30. I put a little bit back in when I saw some encouragement from Iran. Yeah, so that's all I got, and we'll see you tomorrow. I'm going to try to do this every day.